You all right? My name's Paul. I've got autism and I make random videos based on my version of autism. And I stick the videos on the internet just in case someone fancies watching them at some point. And this is the request bit. This is where people will send in a request to the email and basically ask me to cover some sort of video. And if I get around to it, I will do. But the one that's simple and I don't ever mind covering are tests because it doesn't take much thought to do a test video, to be honest. And I do them all from a place called Clinical Partners because you don't have to make an account, which always helps because I don't want to make an account. There's nothing more annoying than doing a test online. You press click for results and it says make an account. No, I don't want to. And you don't have to do it with this site, so that's good. Sorry for just if you're wondering why I'm looking over there, my cat has just got on my shelf and he likes to lick and it drives me insane. So I've decided off the back of a request to do an OCD test. Now, the first thing that bothers me about that is I thought I'd already done one. I've gone through my videos and I clearly didn't. So that must have got lost in the ether somewhere. The one I'm going to do has got 18 questions. The answers range from not at all, a little bit, moderately, a lot, and extremely. So I'll tell you what I answer when I read the question. I will give you a little bit of an answer if possible, and see where we end up. Play along, get it up yourself. Pause it after I've read the question. See if we get the same answers. Um, what else should I say about this thing? I don't know. We'll figure it out as we get through it anyway. So, the OCD test, let's just get into it. So, question one: I have saved up so many things that they get in the way. No. I do not hoard. I do not have anything that I don't need, not that I can think of. Like, if I look around this room now, everything has a purpose. Um, except the empty packet of chocolate that I've got on my desk in front of me now because I've literally just eaten them, and I haven't thrown them away yet. But I haven't. No, so not at all would be the answer for that one. Question two: I check things more often than necessary. Um, I suppose. I mean, I check. You know, my phone is a great example. Um, because my old phone used to have a light on the front and it'd let you know if anybody had have sent a message, tried calling, if an email had come in, if one of the apps had something to tell me that I've got on the phone. And the phone I use now doesn't have that. So I never know if something's come in. So I'm always having to just tap the screen just to let me know what's been going on. Um, I will obviously check to make sure doors are locked, windows are closed. But do I check them more often than necessary? I wouldn't say I do, so I'll just go for a little bit. Question three: I get upset if objects are not arranged properly. uh, yes, I do, extremely. Um, because why not? Why would things not be arranged properly? If you've got 10 items, all you've got to do 10 times is put them in the place and make sure they stay there. Everything I put in a room has a reason to be there. So I want them to go right. Like I could not deal with a picture on the wall that wasn't straight. Might as well just take the picture off the wall if you're going to mess about. Don't, there's just no reason for it. Sometimes people can have like curtains and they're not straight. It's like, why are they ruffled? Why haven't you undone? Wow, why are you dealing with this? Sort it out. And I can't focus if it's so. Yeah, I do get upset. Um, if it's something of mine and somebody's rearranged it, for example, oh, I'll go off my nut. So yes, extremely. Question four: I feel compelled to count while I'm doing things. Yeah, I do that as well. I didn't think that was a problem until I've read that, so that's obviously a trait of something. What I would do with counting, I count my fingers. I know how many fingers I've got, but I mean, I do this thing where I tap my fingers a lot, and that's sort of my control measure of, just when I'm a bit freaked out and I don't have anything to distract me. So I'll do beats and count like off timed beats with me with the repetitive tapping that I'll do. Um, I count steps. I count steps on stairs, and if it's going to end on an odd number, I've got to sort of jump a step, which I'm sure as I turn into an older man, I'll probably snap an ankle or something doing that. But yeah, I do a lot. I'll say a lot, not extremely, because I don't count everything. Question 5. I find it difficult to touch an object when I know it's been touched by strangers or certain people. Yeah. I mean, I can't, be around children because they've got bogey fingers. They've got dirt on them. They don't understand personal space. They'll be crying. There's a big snot bubble on the go. I can't deal with anything like that. And then they might like be eating a chocolate and it's melted on the hands and they might try and offer you something, and a lot of parents will go, "Oh, that's for you. That's for you." And then there's me who's like, "Oh, you little tramp. Oh, no, move. Somebody get this thing away from me." um, I think that's more in my head. I'm not sure if I say that out loud. But yeah, I can't deal with it. Public bathrooms, I have to use them because I travel for work, but the lengths I go to, to sort of avoid. Like I could do a full video telling you my toilet technique, for public bathrooms. So yeah, I can't touch things that other people have touched. That's extremely that one. So question 5, extremely. Question 6, I find it difficult to control my own thoughts. Yeah, I do, but I thought that was more related to autism. I didn't think it was to do with OCD. I guess it must be. Um, yeah, like if, the easiest example is always to say when you go to bed, put your head on the pillow, you're ready for a sleep, you're up early in the morning, and your brain goes, "Do you want to think of things that have embarrassed you?" Oh, no, I don't. I just want to sleep. Um, and like, I suppose with that, with, kids with the dirty hands and, people who are, a bit smelly looking. Um, yeah, I'm going to go for a lot because, the monologue that runs through my mind. It's a good job there's law in place because if there wasn't, I would be like a walking purge. Question 7. I collect things I don't need. No. No, I don't. I don't see the point. I have just got rid of all my DVDs that I've ever owned because I haven't got a DVD player anymore and everything I want to watch I can get digitally, so I don't need them. I just don't see, and I don't need to have them in a case somewhere just so I can see them. The only DVDs I've got left is one season of Family Guy, the first 3 seasons of Dexter, and all of The Shield. And the only reason I've got them left is because they were in a different place than the rest of my DVDs when I was getting rid of them. So once something becomes obsolete, clothes, I'm always doing an amnesty of clothes, getting them to the charity shop. I just don't, a clear house equals a clear mind. So that's why I get rid of things. So not at all. Question 8. I repeatedly check doors, windows, drawers, etc. Right. Now, this one's interesting because I used to, but then I created control measures so I didn't have to. So, for example, drawers, I don't need to check drawers because I have soft closers on them. So, once drawers are closed, I know they are because otherwise the soft closer wouldn't have been able to work. Windows, I don't open windows anymore. I only keep them on the catch. You know that little when you can just open them a tiny bit and then close your window handle again. So I don't open them fully, so I don't have to worry that they're still open. And doors, I used to be quite bad at checking doors, just making sure they were always locked. Because I've lived in rough areas, you've got to make sure your doors are locked or people come in. So to get out of that, I've got 3 doors to get into my house: a front, a side, and a back. And the front door, I'll know it's locked because the chain will be on. And I don't know why they install chains. That's not going to keep, someone out of a house. Um, the side door and the back door, they've both got key tabs. And once the door is locked, I will rest the tab on top of the key to know that it's locked, because there's no way I would ever unlock the door and then put the tab on top. That's impossible. So yeah, I've got control measures because I used to do it. So I'm going to say a lot, because if it wasn't for the control measures, I'd still be doing it. Question 9. I get upset if others change the way I have arranged things. If you touch anything of mine, chop your hands off. Yeah, I do. I hate it because I have arranged it. I have put things where I want them for a reason. For someone to just come along and start changing things, what are you doing? Don't do that. I've got comics on one of the shelves on my bookshelf thing that I've got, this freestanding bookshelf that you can never see. And like on one side, I've got all these Old Man Logan comics, and they're all in number order. Of course they are, you know. And on the other side, I decided what I was going to do on occasion was buy Walking Dead comics. Not a fan of the TV show, but the comics, why not? And there's hundreds of them. And I thought, a little slow thing, maybe as a new hobby, just do that. And I bought the first 5 comics off eBay, off people. And someone had put episode 13 in a bag as well as one of the 1 to 5. So I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 13. And that on certain days does my head in. And I think, well, I don't want to throw it away, because what if I buy 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? Then it'll be all right. But at the minute, it isn't. So it's kind of do I get rid of it or do I buy the rest? But anyway, we're not talking about that. I do get upset if people change the way I've arranged things, because there will always be explainable logic as to why I have arranged things the way I have. Don't just rearrange them. Extremely is the answer for that one. I'm just checking the time. We're doing all right. So question 10. I feel I have to repeat certain numbers. I wouldn't say a certain number, but I do feel I have a number problem. So, for example, if I'm listening to the television or I'm listening to the radio in the car, it will have like a volume control and it'll have a number on there. So I can only have the volume on 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 18, 20. So those increments are always an even number, or they are a halfway number between 0 and 10, 10 and 20. So I couldn't go downstairs, put the TV on and watch a show on, volume 7. That would just not do well with me. That'd be really odd. I wouldn't be able to, well, obviously it'd be odd, it'd be 7, but I wouldn't be able to do that, So I don't know if I have an issue to repeat numbers. I have got a little bit of something like that because, well, I don't want to go into it, but basically, if I'm doing something that has a number in there, I will try and do other things within that subject with the same number. So if it was the number 3, for example, I would try and do the 3 things I need over 3 days, at 3 o'clock. So I would always try and pick a pattern to try and achieve things in. So I'm going to say moderately, because I know I have a number thing, but defining it's quite difficult because I've never really put much thought into it. Question 11. I sometimes have to wash or clean myself simply because I feel contaminated. Yeah, I do. But I suppose that's tricky because, like, if I was to shake hands with someone, I don't need to have a bath or a shower, because that's literally my hand. And no once I've cleaned my hand wherever they touched, I'm good. But if I've been somewhere that smells and I can kind of smell it in my clothes or anything, like I've got to have a full shower. I can't, like, and them clothes have to go in the wash. I couldn't be happy with those clothes on again. Um, so yeah, I'm going to say a lot because I have to get rid of what I feel is the contamination. Question 12. I am upset by unpleasant thoughts that come into my mind against my will. Yeah, I thought I've answered this question, but I might be having that deja vu thing again. Yeah, because I'll be lying in bed. I really feel like I've answered this. I could have sworn I've said you can lie in bed and your mind wants to think of things and stops you sleeping. And if I haven't said that, then maybe I did that in my dream last night. But yeah, you do get unpleasant thoughts. And, like I say it all the time, but it's a good job the law exists. Because when my patience is thin, I don't see I see a very simple way to mitigate issues. Let's just leave it at that. I'll say a lot because sometimes when I'm not fully recharged, my mind's not a fantastic place to live in. Um, and other things do take over, and it's sometimes not nice. Stops you sleeping, stops you being content, stops you enjoying the hobbies, stops you enjoying the food that you'd usually enjoy, and it's just unpleasant. So I'm going to say a lot. Question 13. I avoid throwing things away because I am afraid I might need them later. No, I know if I need them. Like when I was working with the fire service, I used to have a bit of an insight into hoarding, and I used to visit hoarders doing home fire risk assessments. And it was amazing to find out that it was a psychological issue rather than just somebody wanting to keep hold of everything. But one of the tips I used to give people is when you are clearing things out, when you are giving yourself a clearance, and I'm going to throw that away, I'm going to move these things, is whatever you touch, you have to deal with that item. Don't put it to one side. You've got to deal with it. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to get hold of something off my desk. Like I've got 100 items in front of me, and I pick up one of my guitar capos. Now I've picked this up, I've got to deal with it. So, right, do I need it? Yes. Okay. So where does it live? And now I'll have to go and put it where it lives, and once it's in its place, I can deal with the other 99 things. But I'm never needing to revisit this, am I? You should always deal with what you've got in your hands. You're not allowed to put it down. So I avoid throwing things away because I'm afraid I might need them later. Not at all, because I do not keep things I don't need. Question 14. I repeatedly check gas and water taps and light switches after turning them off. I don't need to check them because I know if the light's off, because I can't see. And water taps. See, this is quite an old question because back in the day it was difficult. Like my gas won't stay on unless there's a light on it because there's a control measure on the cooker. My water taps, I don't have taps anymore. I have like a multi-faucet that you just lift up and pop down. And light switches, like I say, it'll be dark if there's a problem. And I always make sure I hear them click when I turn them off, so they're not maybe just sitting halfway. And I know if they do, it's not going to be a problem because I know how electricity works in a house. So I'm going to say because of the modern time we live in, that's a bit of a dated question. I'm just going to say a little bit because I used to, even when I was a younger kid living with my mum, she would check the gas, and I used to check the gas even after she checked it. Question 15. I need things to be arranged in a particular way. I thought I've answered this. Is this just the same question reworded and they're trying to trip us up? But yes, I do. I need to have things in a particular way. Everything has an order. Everything can be logically explained as to why I've put things in a certain place and why it needs to live there, why it needs to not be moved, and why you don't ever need to touch it. Extremely, yes, because I don't put things down just because that's where I want it to sit for now and I'll deal with it in a bit. He needs to live there because I said so. Like, I've got guitars on the wall over there, and the reason they're all put on a particular hook is explainable. Everything can be explained. So I'm going to say extremely. Still doing all right for time. Question 16. So we've 16, 17, and 18 left. I feel that there are good and bad numbers. Now, I know I've answered this one. Yeah, I do. I don't like odd numbers, unless they're an in-between number between, like 0 and 10, 10 and 20, 20 and 30. I don't have a problem with the number 13 like some people do. So it's not through a superstition. It's just through something nutty that I made up probably when I was a kid and it's never left me. My favorite number is 70, and I don't know why. I actually do like the number 7. I like its shape, but I couldn't watch TV, the volume on that number. I feel even numbers can be trusted. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll say a little bit because I don't feel that the numbers are bad. I just don't want to deal with them when I'm doing certain things. Like if somebody said, "Do you want to buy these 3 pens?" I'd be like, "Nah, but I'll buy 2 of them." Or if you've got another one, I'll probably buy 4 of them. You know what? I'm gonna turn it up. I'm saying moderately because yeah, it does impact everything. Question 17. I wash my hands more often and longer than necessary. Now, this is not at all. And the reason it's not at all for me is because I've seen somebody doing this and I swore to myself I wouldn't do that because the stress it caused and the damage it caused to the hands. It was this young lad called Jamie. Didn't like him at all, but I also didn't like how he washed his hands. And his hands were a mess, and he had dermatitis, which was caused by over cleaning and basically scrubbing all the goodness off his hands. So anything that came into contact would contaminate him and cause him an issue. And it was really bad. And that scared me sort of out of doing that. But when I do wash my hands, I make sure I'm washing them properly and I make sure they're dried properly as well. But I won't wash them for no reason. So, like I say, if I've shook hands with someone, I feel like I need to clean my hands. If I've touched something I don't want to really touch or not sure where it's come from, if I bring in a delivery from like the delivery people from outside, then yeah, my hands have to get washed, but the duration isn't overly excessive. So I'm going to say not at all. Last but not least, question 18. I frequently get nasty thoughts and have difficulty getting rid of them. I've answered this. I know I've answered this. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure I said, my mind is like the purge. If there was no law, I'd go to town on a few things. But yeah, you do. Or I do anyway. And the thought process isn't pleasant. You sort of get really fixated on something. You don't want it in your head, but it won't leave. You try and distract yourself and your mind won't let you. It's not nice, and I don't know where they come from. I don't know what they're linked to, but that was something else. I just assumed everybody had that. But I guess the reason this question's come up about 3 different times under 3 different ways is tricky. So I'm going to tone it down just because it's the last question. And I'm going to say moderately because it doesn't happen all the time. But when it does, the difficulty is very, very strong. Moderately. Right. Last question answered. What's it doing now? Okay, here's the results. So it says that mild to moderate would be scored 0 to 21. Moderate to high would be 22 to 40, and then severe would be 41 to 72. And it says these results indicate that you are experiencing moderate to high symptoms of OCD. What else does it say I should do? OCD is a complex disorder that can take different forms and will affect each person differently. Yes. Obviously tells you to give them a call or whatever because that's the way you do it. That's the way they bring people in. But am I surprised with the outcome? I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about OCD. Um, I don't think the way I live with from the questions that were asked impact me in a way where it's too negative. So even if I did have moderate to high symptoms, it's not worth me pursuing anywhere. Um, because I always try and find a control measure and I have to tell myself that the control measure is there because I need to control it. Otherwise, it will not be measured. um, and it might end up in a severe category, who knows? But it is what it is. That's the problem with autism. It can be linked with so many other mental differences, the comorbidities, which I really should do a video on at some point. But it is what it is. So I got 39. So let me know what you got. Okay, I'll put the link to the test in the description, and there we go. But if you want me to do any tests, it doesn't even have to be with this website. It could be with anyone. I don't mind doing the same test again under a different umbrella, whatever. Then just let me know. Email me at oldandautistic@gmail.com. That's always going to be in the description as well. Okay. So until next time, thanks for watching and keep smiling.